circle one of each. So 6 minus 16, that gives me 10, and it's negative. And then I have minus 147. And I'm going to do the same thing. I won't necessarily do all of the work there for it. Actually, I will. Why not? You guys are watching me do it, not looking at the end. And so now that both signs are the same, so I'm going to add. So 10 plus 47 gives me 157. And my answer at the end is going to be negative because of that right there. So negative 157. All right. So again, these integers down here at the bottom, you can do those however you think. So I said this was the easier one because I'm going to do the harder one last. And okay, so let's take a look at it now. So the mistake you probably made was probably the very first thing you wrote down. I'm guessing most of you, well, you might have done this first because you're using parentheses or whatever, so you might have written that down correctly. But I'm sure that many of you wrote down this, 16. And as we just learned over here, when you have negative 4 squared inside the parentheses, you get positive 16. That's not what I had. Here I had negative 4 squared, and I ended up with negative 16 because you put a 0 in front, then the order of operations would be 0 minus 4 squared. 0 minus 4 squared is 16. 0 minus 16 is negative 16. So over here, what I should have is not 16, but negative 16. All right. So now I'm going to go back and put in my where my groups are. So here's a group because of that. Here's a group because of that, and that's it. So in this first one, I can do this group all together, all that I want. So that's going to be negative 16, and then plus, and this one doesn't change, so that's plus 6, and then minus, and then over here, I need to do that addition first. So for that addition, it's going to be 8, and then squared, and then this hasn't been done yet, so I just bring that 2 down. Now I'm going to keep moving down here. So negative 16 plus 6 minus, and over here I need to do that square first. So it's going to be 2 times, and 8 squared is 64, like that. And so then I have negative 16 plus 6 minus, and 2 times 64. That's now multiplication and division. So now I'm going to put that in blue. 2 times 64 is 128. And now I can do my adding and subtracting from left to right. So that's 2 minuses, 1 plus, circle one of each. That gives me negative 10, and then minus 128. And then I can this, and that means I'm going to add, and I get negative 138 for my final answer here. Okay? So, 2 different problems, right? Very, very similar. This being the very key component. With no number in front like this, that means that minus sign is not connected to the 4. It is 4 squared and then the minus sign, just like it is down here. This is 6 minus 4 squared. This is 0 minus 4 squared. The only way that minus sign is connected is if it is inside the parenthesis and the exponent is outside the parenthesis. This one is now saying square negative 4. So this is squaring negative 4. This one is squaring 4. Okay, this one is squaring 4 because I take 0 minus 4 squared. All right, so that's the key thing. Is this key right here, understanding and knowing when is it going to be positive and when is it going to be negative. So that in context over here, you make sure that you know this one should be 0 minus 4 squared. Okay, that's the last of the notes right there. So the only thing I have left to do here is I'm going to put up the answers for those first problems. and take a look at them, and then I will slide it over here in just a second, or you can press pause so that you can have as much time as you need. Here is the first and the third problem. I'll slide it over so you can do the second and the fourth. And what I did here is I did it like exactly using all the order of operations. And so you will just do exactly, you know, hopefully you had exactly what I have there. Certainly, hopefully you got down to the correct answer at the bottom. And then over here is the other part. So there's number 2 and number 4. And notice on this one, we were all the way down to add and subtract, and I just did it from left to right. Okay, that's the video for today. That's the lesson you should have learned. Like I said, there's no additional homework beyond this. Just make sure you upload those parts that I asked you to upload during the video. Okay, have a great weekend. I will talk to you guys next week.